Annie DeFranco wrote once, "I know there is strength in the differences between us. I know there is comfort where we overlap." With me today is the author of Different Kinds of Special, Donna Carol Koffman, who's going to share with us her book. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First, I read the book. I'm very inspired by it. It's a great book. What inspired you to write the book?
Well, I have a grandson named Reese, and Reese has autism. And I didn't plan to write the story. I was just sitting down one day and I kept a journal about Reese. And suddenly I started turning to the back of the journal. It was 8 in the morning, and by 11 I looked up and I had written this story.
Oh, wow. Wow. And now what's the key messages that you want to actually convey?
Okay, the key
book?
message of this story is to teach typical children about children with special needs, in this case an autistic child, and about autism. And to teach them empathic understanding, acceptance, and inclusion of these children.
Well, actually, I think that when I read through the book, I think it actually touches on so many different kinds of kids as well.
That's right.
Right? So any children with different colored hair, different skin tones.
That's right. I work my way from just differences in aesthetically, size, hair color, and work my way towards special needs. And I'm focusing in on communication and social disorders as autism. And so what
do you want children to actually, what message do you want them to take away from reading the book? Because I think it's actually made, this book is a good read for all children.
And adults.
And adults too.
That's right.
Adults too.
Well, what I want to do is open up a dialogue between parents and children and teachers and children about empathy especially, and about inclusion. We live in this big world together, but children with special needs, and in particular autistic children, which there are so many, live in a world that doesn't yet know how to include them. And so I want people to understand this and to not be afraid. You know, people are very often afraid of something they don't understand.
Oh, absolutely, especially children, right? And
That's
children
right.
can be mean.
Yes. So that was the main reason for writing this, I guess, is to help children to understand other children that are different than them and know that it's okay and that there's nothing to be afraid of.
Now let's talk about Reese a little bit. Now you dedicated the book to him.
Yes, I did.
So how old was he when he was first diagnosed?
He was 22 months.
Oh, so he was young.
Mm-hmm.
And share with us about that a little bit.
Well, it's a devastating diagnosis for family, and for my children. It was very painful, of course, but you know, life changes and you become. It's a new normal for us now. I mean, so many years later, this is their life and our life. And Reese has a little sister now, and he's learning to interact because of her, which is great. But when a child like this is diagnosed, you feel like there's something you need to do, and you don't even know where to begin.
Right.
You know, you feel emotionally frozen, and it's frightening, but you learn to live with it, and and Reese is a gift.
Now, how old is Reese now?
He's 10 now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so, what were the warning signs from the beginning? Because we heard in an earlier interview that the lack of saying the first word in the first 16 months. Was it things like that?
Well, it's interesting because Reese has the kind of autism that he did speak and do things when he was before a year.
Okay.
And then after a year, he started slipping away from us. He stopped looking at us. He stopped seeming like he knew how to play with things. And he just would run back and forth. That's all he did, was run back and forth, and didn't do any of the things he was starting to do. So he lost his faculties.
I see. Now, does he communicate at all right now?
Reese is a nonverbal child with autism. However, he communicates in his way.
Okay.
He communicated to me very well so that I could write the story about him. Just, he knows how to communicate with us in a certain way. But it is frustrating for him. He is learning on a Go Talk at school, which speaks for him. But he has difficulty learning.
That's the computer? Is that the computer?
Something like a computer where you touch, I want something, and it says, I want a cookie, or I want. He can say the odd word, though. Reese can't say the odd word, but he's still considered nonverbal. He can't have a conversation. And when certain days, words will come out. Other days, nothing comes out but noises.
Now, at school, does he play with other children?
Reese doesn't know how to play.
Okay, and that's one of the that's kind of one of the things that you did touch on in your book, right? So
He doesn't know how to play. The one thing that you can get him to interact, and I find this with a lot of children with autism, is music. Music is like a universal language for everyone, and for children with autism, if you put music on, you can dance. He'll dance, and he likes to dance, and you can dance. But he won't play with other children. He doesn't know how.
so he just does not know how.
No, it's part of their communication and social. It's a communication and social disorder, autism.
Now, when relationships work well for him, how does that, like with his parents, and how, like is it better at home? Is it?
Yes, he is. And interestingly enough, if you take him into a crowd of people, like say a carnival or something for children, he may just go up to a person and put his face in their face.
Oh, really?
And smile at them. Yeah, that's him saying
hello. Because this isn't an intelligence thing. This is a communications.
It's a communication and social disorder, but definitely affects cognitive. It definitely affects. And some children are lower functioning than the others, and Reese is considered low functioning. Immediately when they're nonverbal, they're considered low functioning, but they aren't always.
Well, he must be very proud of you. By the way, the illustrations, talk to me about the illustrations, because they're beautifully done.
Thank you. I'm very proud to say that I had a young illustrator called Brienne Bigger, and this was her first book, and when I met with her and saw her portfolio, I knew that she was the one, and she really captured my vision. I'm just so proud. And to tell you the truth, when she first came and painted the book and we met and I saw it painted for the first time, I just broke down and cried.
Oh, wow.
I just couldn't believe how she captivated everything that I wanted her to.
Now, how long is this process of making the book?
Well, she was a part-time illustrator at the time, so it took a long time. But it's taken about 6 years to get this book out.
Well, it's actually it's artwork, really, in a book, and it's written so very, very well.
Thank you.
We mentioned in the banter about this one illustration that you had from a child with Asperger's.
That's right. That's Devon's illustrations. And when I was searching for an illustrator, I happened in on Devon's mom, and she brought his work to me. And at the time, Devon was 6.
Okay.
And I saw this work. I knew he couldn't draw the book. It would be just too overwhelming for him.
Of course.
But I said to her, I'll find a place for Devon's drawings in this book. He's a very, very talented artist.
It's incredible, like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And the book is beautiful, and it really tells such an important message.
Thank you.
For all kids, and some adults I know as well, for sure.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for coming. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
For more information, please go to lostforwardspress.com. Now, here's one of our volunteers, Helene, with your community events calendar.